Welcome everyone to the Howl Podcast, where we feature individuals from various backgrounds who have captivating stories to tell. And our goal in this podcast is to bring people together by sharing diverse experiences, diverse stories that represent the world we live in. And very excited for this episode in particular because this is a person who is a big friend of mine, great friend of mine, and we've known each other for like so long, over a decade. Definitely over a decade. But definitely someone who is very, very talented in many fields, very talented in, I'm just going to mention like what he does. He is an animator. He's a film editor, trailer editor, YouTuber with so many subscribers, and we'll talk about that later. And also, just many things. A man of many traits, a man of many talents. So this person's name is Brandon Swofford, if you haven't seen the title yet. So welcome, Brandon, to the show.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. And that means a lot coming from a Renaissance band like you. So thank you. That means a lot. And 10 years. My God. Wow. I can't believe it's been that long. Time's flying.
Yeah. It's actually been 13, it's crazy.
Holy whoa, man.
Time just flies.
They're freaking me out every more. Yeah. Please. Yeah. Juan and I actually met in high school. We were in the same media class together, and we started out as kind of friends, and then we started off as enemies, and then we became friends slowly but surely. We worked together on a bunch of stuff. So yeah, I'm so happy to be here, Juan. Thanks for having me, buddy.
For sure. Yeah, I love how you mentioned how we were enemies before, because we're actually both editors, and we were working on the same project in the past, and we wanted to be both editors. I want to edit this.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually got in a physical fight in the media classroom because we were fighting over who was going to edit this. It was terrible. Little did we know we got to stick together as editors. So I'm glad we finally squashed the beef and made peace.
Absolutely. And just looking back, I remember how passionate we both are, as editors, and we still are even today. And now we're continuing to support each other, which is great. Right. So, for the audience who don't know much about you and what you do, just kind of introduce yourself and tell them about, things that you do, currently doing, and have done in the past as well.
Yeah, no problem, Owl. I'm Brandon Swofford. I am currently a junior trailer editor at a place called Project X, where we have different clients come in, like Sony or Paramount or Disney or all the different studios. And what I've been doing is making little trailer edits for TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, all the stuff you see on social media. I've been doing those kind of things. I worked on Spider-Verse recently, which was a dream come true. I watched that Across the Spider-Verse on my first day at work, which was shocking. I was like, what? I get to watch this for work. It was amazing. And then, did some stuff for Transformers, did some stuff for The Machine. Got some more stuff going on right now, which I don't think I'm allowed to talk about. But all the stuff that's been released, I can talk about. And yeah, it's been awesome. But yeah, I'm also an animator and an artist on the side. I got my degree in animation, did some short films, made some music videos, directed some, been going around, directing different stuff. And also an actor on the side, which I don't do as often, but I would love to get back on stage or get back on in front of the camera a little bit more. And yeah, just hustling around, I've been told it's good to have multiple things going on. Some people, when you're doing an interview in the business, will be like, you gotta have just one thing that you're good at. But I say life's too short for that, because we only got one life. You know what I mean? So if you got something else you want to do, go for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. You only have one life. Just experience as many things as you can. Right. But I also wanted to mention, oh my God, I saw like some of your stuff you've done with the Spider-Verse. That's amazing. That's great. And, just having your talent and, coming to fruition, that's very impressive to me. But how did you get started in, editing and acting and animating?
Thanks, buddy. Well, honestly, I think it just really started when I was really young. My my dad was in the film industry, and so was two of my grandpas were. My grandpa was an editor and he directed concert films. Like he worked with big artists like Stevie Wonder and Harry. Jeez. Wow, this is embarrassing. They like worked with so many big people. Like, oh, Tina Turner was one of them. R.I.P. And yeah, my other grandpa, Ken Swofford, was an actor. I actually got to work with him in my senior thesis, Happy the Younger Polar Bear, where he voiced the main character. So it's just kind of been. I mean, I say all that going off the. I say all that, and feel like I'm coming off as a Nepo baby, and I probably am. But yeah, honestly, when you're born into something, like I was like so inspired by all that, and watching movies like The Lion King and Toy Story, which are still my favorite movies today. I knew I wanted to be in the film industry. I knew I wanted to tell stories. I knew I wanted to entertain people. And throughout high school, I was a bit of a clown. I didn't mind when people were laughing at me because I knew I was making them happy. So I didn't mind the attention. And even if I was making a fool of myself, I was like, nice. They like me. They're watching me. Yeah. So I think that definitely played a part in acting and going up there and being brave and making a fool of yourself or trying to be the cool guy. You know what I mean? And yeah, dude, I kept drawing all the time. I made comic books in second grade through third grade, fourth, fifth, and I would sell them outside. And yeah, just kept trying out different things. And I think it was a lot of just curiosity, and I knew I wanted to get there. So I was like, I just got to keep trying. I just got to keep making stuff.
Absolutely. And that's great that, that you've established like a lot of connections in the industry as well. But I wanted to ask this question because this is something that a lot of people struggle with, right? So how do you balance like your creative pursuits, as an animator, as a, film editor, a trailer editor, as well as your personal life? Like, how do you balance both those things? Because some people get, a tendency to kind of burn out, either on the spot or like in the long run, if they can, if they're essentially like continuously doing the same thing over and over again, or just addicted in general. Like what would you say to those people who want to balance both those fields, like personal life and also professional life?
Oh yeah, it's true, man. It's true. You could really burn out really easily. And I feel like I've been feeling some burnout lately, and I'm trying to get out of that sense. But yeah, you totally get burnt out, especially especially when we're growing up, and then we start to get jobs, and we're not in school anymore, and then we gotta be working for a living, and most of the time when we get home, we're dead ass tired. we don't want to work on anything. Yeah, we just want to rest. Yeah, we just want to relax, or we want to go out. We're on our phones all day, and we see people on Instagram sharing stuff of them going out, having a margarita somewhere. They're like, okay, I want to go out. I want to hang out with my friends now. So it's definitely a balance. But I think it's important for me, I think it's important to socialize. If you want to be an artist, if you want to work on a bunch of stuff, I think it's still good to hang out with people and talk to people. Like, have you seen the movie Adaptation with Nicolas Cage?
No, I haven't actually.
Yeah, it's so good. But he plays a writer in it, and he actually plays twins. But the main guy he plays, the writer, he's overweight and he's got crazy haircut. Doesn't have good social skills. Every time he goes out, he's like, I need to get going. I have this thing to write. I gotta finish a script. I'm really behind. And then he gets home and he doesn't write anything because he has no inspiration, because he doesn't talk to people. Yeah, he doesn't know how to talk to anyone. But his brother is a really social guy. He is the talk of the town. He's super confident, and he's not a writer. But he just tries writing a script one day, and he gets it done really fast, and everyone loves it. It's crazy. And I think that's so true. I think you got to have that good balance of going to talk to people like we're doing right now, It's good to socialize. It's good to keep in touch with your friends who are artists as well. Good to keep in touch with friends who aren't artists. Yeah, I think it's really important to find that balance. And yeah, burnout is real. Burnout is real, but you just, if you're really meant to do it, you just keep doing it.
Absolutely. Great advice. Great advice, Brandon, because I'm coming, from a position of being an introvert as well. Like, me, I get a lot of energy just from sitting in front of the computer for around like 12 hours, 14 hours a day, but not so much in socialization, right? Like when I go out, when I take breaks, or actually just going out in general and socializing with people, that's when my energy kind of drains as well. But I really see a lot of value in it, of, especially taking breaks in between to avoid burnout, right? Just keeping your sanity alive and make sure you don't like constantly do the same thing over and over, or even just like going out for a walk, right? And, I remember you mentioned you're a trailer editor too. Like, I don't know if you value the importance of taking breaks, like from time to time, even just like looking away from the screen for like a minute or so, and then coming back, and then you're kind of recharged already. Do you see the value in taking breaks as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really important to go take a walk or just go around the office if you can't go outside. And like, yeah, if you stare too much at the computer, then your eyes are gonna explode, and the back of your brain, you're gonna feel the brain juice oozing down, and you're gonna feel like the sweat pouring down and stuff, and then you're gonna feel like you just got out of bed but you didn't get enough sleep. And yeah, it's a terrible feeling. You always gotta just look around for a bit, go see if you can talk to someone, because if I'm on the computer for too long and I see someone down the hall and I try to talk to them, I might not be able to make words. I might go, how you doing? And they're like, what? So you gotta, burnout is real. Burnout is real, and it burns out the brain. So yeah, you really gotta make sure you're keeping it tact and talking to people from time to time.
Absolutely. And in terms of making connections as well, it could be very important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like, me being a notebook baby, it's all about who you know.
Exactly.
You got to keep in touch with people. You got to make connections. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to switch gears now into acting. Like, what drew you to acting? Were you taking acting classes before? Like, where did you get started? Did you have some sort of training, or was this just something you really wanted to do? Like after watching so many movies in the past?
Yeah, I think it was always watching so many movies in the past, like I said earlier, and also wanting attention, being a bit of a attention whore, a bit of a ham. Growing up, I didn't mind when people were laughing at me. And I get it also just really, I did some plays in elementary school, but I think it really cemented when I was in middle school and I wanted to be a rapper all of a sudden. I just really had this fascination for it, for going on stage, having that persona and dropping some beats and rhymes and stuff. And I liked, and I wasn't a good singer ever really, but I liked rapping because you could kind of talk and you could show off your rhyming, and so you're a storyteller in that way. You're a Dr. Seuss, but you're also a performer. I think that was something that really appealed to me. And my rapper name was B Money, and I went on stage in middle school at the talent show and performed my song and danced like a fool. My friend John Mayer was up there, not John Mayer the singer. His name is actually John Mayer. And in case you're wondering if John Mayer was and I had a collaboration, it was so fun, and it was fun, and the whole school was laughing at me. The whole school was hooting and hollering, slapping their knees, but I was having a good time because I knew that I was finally like making people happy. That was like, this is it. This is nice. And people came up to me at the end. They wanted more. And I think that was it too. Like, I was entertaining people, and that's what brought me happiness. But that, even when I got out of that phase, I was like, okay, but I do love performing in front of people. So in high school, I did some more theater, like as you know, and I did some theater after high school and college, which was so fun. And yeah, acting is something I still love doing. I don't do it as often, but it's something I love doing. I think the most recent thing I did was a short film where I played a man in his 50s. I got my gray hair going. I got glasses on. I was somebody's boss. I grew a beard and a little goatee for it. It was so fun.
That's awesome. Like, I can tell that you're really having fun just making people happy in general and making them smile, making them laugh, and making them feel a certain way, right? Can you share some insights as far as acting is concerned, like about your process, like how do you develop a character, and also like what goes through your head when you're inside that character's brain?
Ooh. Oh, man, you're asking some good questions. You should be a podcaster. But yeah, it's in the process. I guess the first thing I try to do is just remember my lines. I just try to memorize them as fast as I can. I'll record myself saying them and acting them out, and then I'll just keep listening to it, and then I'll get it. I'll get it pretty fast as long as I keep listening to it. Like I'll go on a run and listen to it, which is kind of weird, running and listening to yourself, but it's part of the process of memorizing lines. And yeah, I guess it's most of the time I'm very distracted. Like I got a lot of things on my mind, but when I'm playing a character, when you yell action and that in between, and then you yell cut later, that's when I'm the most focused. That's when I'm like, okay, I am playing this character. I'm in the zone. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not thinking about my job. I'm not thinking about a bill I have to pay. I'm not thinking about anything else except this character's motivation and stuff. And yeah, a lot of it also comes from real life. Like I'll trying to develop some mannerisms from people I know who remind me of this character. Like for instance, the character I was talking about earlier, the executive 55-year-old something, I kind of base him a little bit about my dad. like the little like hand gestures he does, and when he's trying to take over a room, and when he's giving a public speech to to his employees. I was just kind of okay, this is, yeah, that's my dad. Yeah, exactly. And most of the time you're gonna grow up to act like your parents, so
absolutely. Yeah, because acting is something that I haven't really done, either too much or at all, right? Like I was like a fisherman when I was in junior year high school for one of the short films I made in the past, but that's about it. That's about it.
No, it's not. You were fantastic in this short film we made, where you're being chased by Michael Samidian, and then I'm chasing you guys.
There you go. I totally forgot about that. We made a film together, and then basically it's about controlling your anger. Controlling your anger. That's such a funny short film as well, and I think it's on YouTube too for people to see. I'll put it on the description.
It is.
I think so. I think I posted it somewhere. I'll try to find to see where it is, and then I'll go ahead and because you haven't seen it in years, right? You haven't seen it in
No, I haven't seen it. But you know what I couldn't find on YouTube? I couldn't find your Vines.
The Vines are gone. Yeah, because Vine is
They're gone. Dang,
no
but
Vine anymore.
didn't you grab a bunch of those Vines and put them up on YouTube somewhere?
I put some of them on YouTube, and it's currently unlisted. I can send those to you, but like most of the stuff that was on Vine that I never saved is not there anymore, sadly, because obviously Vine got taken down. But that was such a great era, I think.
Yeah,
that was just so fun. Like when we were
better than TikTok. Yeah,
absolutely. I would say like when we were young and just not thinking about things too much, just having fun. Just it was definitely a different area for sure.
Oh yeah, send me those Vines. And put them in the description if you'd like. But
all right,
or do what you want.
Let's do it. And for listeners, if we forgot to put it in the description, just let us know. Just send us a DM and then we'll do it.
Post it in the comments below.
In the comments, absolutely. But also, I remember, we worked on a film together last year, a feature film that is a Filipino feature film called Tahanan. And you were, you were like one of the people who I would say embodies who you are too, Brandon, because you're someone who just makes people happy, makes people smile. And in that movie, you were one of the people who were playing beer pong and just making sure that everyone has a good time. Talk about that experience in Tahanan. Like, how was that like working on set? And also having to have it seen, having you seen it on the big screen, right? Like, what was that like? And what did you think of the movie too?
Well, man, it was a wonderful film written by a very talented man who I'm talking to right here. So I'll just get that out of the way right now, and I'm happy to talk about it. Yeah, that was a cool experience, man. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. And you just hit me up one day. You're like, hey, you wanna be in a movie? And I'm like, yeah, man, that sounds fun. And try to get some extras in there. He's like, yeah, hit up some friends if they want to be extras, if they want to be in a party scene also. And I did, and they were all busy, but fuck them. I came over, and yeah. And you were like, all right, you might have a line. I was like, ooh, nice. Okay, I like that. And it was super fun. It was cool having people on the crew also be in the movie as well in the background. It was cool seeing people who I hadn't seen in a while. I hadn't seen you at that time. I hadn't seen you in a long time. So it was cool hanging out with you again, man. And yeah, we were really bad at beer pong. But like we just made that part of the joke. I don't know if it's something you can even tell in the context of the movie, but yeah, we were kind of struggling. We're going, we just didn't have enough real alcohol in us to play well, and yeah, everyone was super friendly, super nice. That was a fun day, man. And yeah, they gave me that one line, and and me being the ham I am, I was like, oh snap, here we go, my one line. I thought at any point you guys were going to put the camera on me for that one line. I was like, I am ready. I am camera ready. My makeup is on. I'm feeling good, looking good. Let's go. And you never did. I have that. My line is off camera. I am the weirdo in the back, and I love it. Honestly, it's even funnier. Was I disappointed my face wasn't on camera? Of course. But I love it. The story's not about me. It's about them. So it's about John and
Jerome.
Thank you. It's about them. So perfect.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
Yeah. No, yeah. And obviously, always love working with you, and also your energy that you bring to the set as well. Like, yeah, whenever we work on films together, either from the past or now, it's always about having a good time. Most of the time, like some of it is serious, obviously, but most of the time we really want to have fun.
Yeah. I mean, if you're with the right people, filmmaking is really fun. And yeah, dude, seeing it on the big screen, that was so cool. Seeing it at a film festival, that was sick, man. And yeah, it's cool to see you and Nicholas keep talking about all the film festivals you're going to, all the ones you're getting into, all the shows you're doing. Yeah, it's just awesome. Yeah, you're thriving, man. You should be proud.
Yeah, that totally means a lot. And then I think that, coming from experience, and I know that you worked on multiple films in the past, it's not an easy task to do, to start, to go from start to finish, from development to post-production, and just trying to show it to the world, which is a topic that I want to go over right now, because you are also a YouTuber. Right, or at least were, or still are. You were definitely much more active in the past compared to now. But I wanted to dive into your music content creation, YouTube content creation. I don't know why I said music. When did you get started? Yeah, exactly. You're a rapper.
Funny enough, I did make that channel for my raps. To upload rap videos and stuff. That's why it's called B Money Rules. My rapper name was B Money. So, and there were so many other B Moneys out there, but I was sticking hard with that name. I was like, I'm gonna be the B Money. The real B Money will stand up. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I was like, I'm gonna be the real one. So I just made it B Money Rules with the Z, of course. And yeah, I started uploading videos. I started making some skits too, because I wanted to be because I knew the whole B Money thing was a joke at the end of the day. It was kind of the butt of the joke. So I was like, I was really leaning into the comedy of it. I made some skits, uploaded those where I'm playing multiple characters at once. You can't see any of those videos now. They're all unlisted. Maybe I'll send them to you. Maybe I'll just send them to you, like you send me those unlisted TikToks. But yeah, man, but that process was long. It was me realizing, maybe this, I don't know if this is for me, but I still kept at it. But I guess it all changed one day when I was working on a project with our high school classmates, Colin Valdecantos and Stefan Talavera. We were working on a history project together. And we were at Colin's house, I believe. We were not getting any work done. We were just goofing around, looking at videos on the internet. And we stumbled across this video with 300 and The Simpsons, a little trailer mashup there. And I was like, we were laughing our butts off, thought it was hilarious. And they looked at me going like, hey, you could try one of these. And I said, okay. So I did. I went home and tried it. I made a Dark Knight Incredibles trailer mashup. And for those of you who don't know, a trailer mashup, that's when you're taking the trailer for, let's say, The Dark Knight. You're taking the audio from that, but you're editing it with footage from The Incredibles. So then it looks like Christian Bale's voice is coming out of Mr. Incredible's mouth. Heath Ledger's Joker voice is coming out of Syndrome's mouth from The Incredibles, and so on and so on. And you're trying to make it look as convincing as possible. And yeah, I tried that, and looking back on it, it kind of sucks. But for the first time, it was pretty good, and we were laughing. They liked it, and I just kept going. I just kept making them. I just kind of became addicted to it, and I really wanted to go viral, and I didn't for the longest time. Like, I was maybe getting 360 something views, which for a kid in high school, that's not bad. But I wanted so much more, and I just wanted that attention. I just wanted to find that victory. And I just kept going and making new videos and making more until eventually it was getting good, and they were getting attention. And yeah, I was so much more dedicated to it back in the day. Back in college, it was kind of like my second job, where I'd just be making a video every week or something. Did some short films on there, made a Batman vs Superman silly short film on there. And yeah, you just kept doing it. But I did have to stop for a bit. I took the hiatus because I had a job where, I'll just tell you, I got a job at Marvel Studios, where they sell my channel. They're like, you probably can't keep making these kinds of videos. So I said, okay. But not working there anymore. So yeah, and then I got a job at Disney, and my boss Alex saw my channel, and he said, by the way, I saw your YouTube channel. And when he said that, I was about to shit a chicken, because I thought I was about to get fired. I was like, oh no, I'm screwed. And he said, holy shit, you're an amazing editor, dude. Whoa, we're like, whoa, really? He's like, yeah, man, you gotta keep doing that. That's sick, dude. It was awesome. So that was a nice, that's also one of the highlights of my career, is my boss calling me to tell me that he saw my YouTube channel and loved it. And right when I thought I was about to lose everything, it was just that high. That was nice. And so went back to YouTube, been doing some more stuff. I'm definitely more of a casual YouTuber now, because my videos don't get as much attention. I'm sure you know, and many of the listeners know. If you don't, upload at a regular basis, YouTube will punish you. You will not get, the viewership will go down. It's almost like your subscribers don't even exist. It's terrible. They act like you're losing subscribers even though you're not. Like I get emails all the time that I lost like 1,000 subscribers, and I was like, no, they're all there. they're all there on the thanks, man. So yeah, but if you're really meant to do it, you just keep doing it. And yeah, it's definitely more of a side thing. And I honestly, I like it being a side thing because now I can just upload when I want, when I'm inspired. I can make a video whenever, on my spare time, when I have time. Like it's not my main source of income, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, I gotta say it's very impressive to have a rapper be a YouTuber and who makes trailer mashups. That's crazy. But just looking back at those videos, I remember you started even way back in high school when you just kept doing it for the hell of it, just for fun, right? And then it started really getting traction along the way, like for years to come, like especially when you were making trailer mashups based on films that were either about to come out or very, very timely, right? So very, very amazing. But you mentioned something about, about the algorithm and also, your viewership going down if you don't consistently make YouTube videos. And it can be a struggle, right? It can be a struggle if you don't do it full time, especially if you're doing it part time. But there are people who do this like full time content creation, and they're, struggling to even get ideas as well, ideas on their videos, ideas on, for example, creating art, for getting ideas on a certain thing. But it looks like you just constantly create just for fun, and you for some reason just gather so many ideas in your mind. Where do you think that comes from? Like, how do you get constantly going, and where do you get these ideas, these creative ideas in art and YouTube, etc.?
Oh, I think it's a lot of just living life. Like, you never know when inspiration is going to strike. I think when you try to think too hard for ideas, you're not going to get many, or you're not going to get the best ones. Usually the best ideas just come at random. For example, or like if you're just talking to a friend and the conversation veers to joking around, and that joking around veers to an idea that you have for a film or whatever. I got an idea for my thesis, my animated short film. Whoa, going through puberty right there. Woo! I got the idea for my animated short film, Happy the Regular Polar Bear, by going on a camping trip that I didn't initially want to go on. It was a camping trip with my fraternity, and I was like, I'm too busy. I'm working on my junior film. I ain't got time for that. But then my friend and I were just like, let's just go for one night, because it was a 2-night trip. So yeah, him and I would just carpooled over in a 1-night trip. And yeah, we were just hanging out, talking, drinking, looking at the skyline, and the conversation just veered to climate change and how much it sucks to be animals, and how much it would suck to be a polar bear, especially because their homes are dying and stuff. And I just did a little impression about an angry polar bear, and they were laughing, and they were like, yeah, that. And I was like, that's gonna be my animated short. And they're like, yeah, that would be funny. And we just kept talking, and then, but all I can think of is, yeah, that is my next short film. Oh snap, that's it. And that's where the ideas, it hit me. And you never know when ideas are going to hit. It's crazy. But yeah, it's sort of like we were talking about earlier about when you get burned out, it's good to just go and talk to a friend, or talk to somebody, or talk to an acquaintance or a coworker. Just get out of that. If you're staring at the computer too long, you're not going to get any inspiration. It's good to talk to people. You never know when something's going to hit.
Absolutely. And yeah, no, you mentioned again about, having burnout. But yeah, there are times as creators when we just tend to lose ideas, tend to lose, our vision. And that's totally normal and happens to most people too. But I think what Brandon mentioned about not thinking about it too much, don't dwell on something too hard. If that works for you, some people, do differently. But for me, that's where I get my ideas from. I don't think about something too much to get an idea in particular. You just do it. You just write. You just create. And then the rest will come later. And then Brandon mentioned about, he worked on this animated short called. How do you say it? Happy the polar bear.
Happy the angry polar bear.
Happy the angry polar bear.
Yeah, that angry is very specific. Very
absolutely.
Important.
Yeah, and I remember watching that, and I just saw like how far you've come as an animator too, like from when you started until there, and even until now, right? Like how much people progress. And I think as people, we constantly are evolving, right? Especially when time is on our hands, when we're constantly doing things, we just continue to evolve. We just continue to evolve. And that's when I mentioned about the previous episode that people start young because they have so much time to work on a certain thing. Same thing here. Same with animation. Like if you run out of ideas, it's okay. It's totally fine. It's totally normal. But don't let that stop you. Just keep going. Just keep pushing through. Right?
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. And when it comes to, your animating process, it's very difficult, right? It's totally a different, I guess it's still considered filmmaking, but it's a different style. It's not live action. Right? Can you compare and contrast the differences between those? Because I remember you're also a film enthusiast, but you're also an animator. But what do you think are the differences as far as, I guess, story in general or anything like between like actual like animated films and live action films?
It's a very different process for sure. I will start off by saying animation is cinema, and it's been preached to the choir all year by people like Guillermo del Toro and whatnot. But I just gotta put it out there. So it's still cinema, in case you were wondering. And yeah, the process is different. It's live action. Yeah, you'll go out there and you film, and if there's something wrong, like a car drives by and stuff, you got to fix that in post. You got to go over that. If you missed a line or something, if an actor says a line differently that you didn't want to say, it's going to be hard to fix that in post. I guess the biggest thing I've noticed in the process is it's so much harder to fix things in post in live action because you're capturing life on camera. And when you're fixing in post, you got to make it look as real as possible. You got to make that look as convincing as possible. Animation, it's not real. I think that's kind of the cool thing about looking at animation is that there is something that goes on in our brain when we see animation on screen. Like it's like we're being put into a world of drawings, in a world of moving drawings, and our brain automatically goes, okay, this is different from my world, and I'm just gonna let you suspend your disbelief a little bit more. I don't think people realize that that's happening, but that's kind of the nice thing about it is that there's so many things that you just you let logically make more sense when it's animated. Like for example, like in the Iron Giant is much more convincing looking than Transformers. Yeah, not always Transformers, but it's true. And yeah, man, but the animation process is really different also. And some will say it's much more time consuming than being on set, but being on set can also be really time consuming. But animation, it's more of a collaborative effort, and it's really, and a lot of animated films also have better stories, and that's because of storyboarding. And storyboarding, is you gotta make panels and drawings of every shot of every scene. And a lot of live action films sadly don't do that, but I think storyboarding is such an important part of the process. It also just, you plan the shot visually is something that's very important, and you just see how things transition to another. So it's a much different process. They're both awesome, they're both fun, but yeah, I think animation, there is something real special about. There's this unspoken thing where you let things make sense, because all right, this is obviously different from my world. Did that make sense?
Totally. And you have unlimited freedom too. But there's so many different styles, right? In animation. There's so many different ways to go about it. And even stop motion. I remember going back in high school, just working on stop motion. You take a photo, and then the next frame you take another photo. I was like, wow, this is actually hard work compared to traditional, for sure. But I remember mentioning this to different people. Actually, how I mentioned, I'm a filmmaker, but I really love animated films. And I think my favorite film of all time, aside from Hook, is Coco.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Coco is something that really hit me. So it hit me as a person. Beautiful. But there's so many different animated films that, just spark your imagination and spark your, just anything, really. There's so many amazing and great animated films out there. And I wanted to ask you, if you have any top 5 recommendations or favorites.
Ooh, my top 5 animated movies
you want to watch.
Wow.
People to watch.
Damn. Want people to watch. I feel like the ones I'll say, most people have already seen. I don't think I'll say one that, I can't imagine. Yeah, my top 5, I feel like maybe I have generic taste. I don't know, but I'll definitely tell you my top 5. My number 5 is probably, I'm going to go 5 to 1. Number 5 is probably The Iron Giant. Wonderful film. It's Brad Bird's first movie. It's Brad Bird's one of the best animation directors of all time. Did The Incredibles and Ratatouille and Iron Giant. He's a marvel. And this movie is wonderful. It's Vin Diesel's best performance. And it's got a lot of heart, and it makes me cry every time. And honestly, talking about it, I want to watch it right now. 4, probably Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The first one. It's a wonderful film. It's truly a comic come to life. And there's something about, whenever someone tries to actually make, I don't know if you've seen Ang Lee's Hulk, but he was actually trying to make a comic book in live action form. There's parts where the comic book flips, and you can see the shots coming out of the panels, and it's ridiculous. But they do that in Into the Spider-Verse, and it's seamless. It's flawless. It works so well. And the voice acting is amazing. The action's amazing. Across the Spider-Verse is a wonderful film. And very excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. But surprisingly, there's people who haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse. So, if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Stop this right now. What are you doing? Stop watching this. Go watch it right now. Number 3 is probably Tarzan. Is Disney's Tarzan. That was a movie that made me want to work out as a child. It definitely made me want to be sexy and fit and I loved animals growing up. I loved the jungle, so Tarzan was a big part of that too. And best Disney soundtrack out there for sure. But Phil Collins. Then we got Toy Story, the first one. So number 2 is Toy Story. It's a technical revelation. It's the perfect story. It's got amazing dialogue. It's the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Yeah, it's a wonderful film. Does the CGI not hold up in some places? Oh yeah, but it's a technical marvel for its time. And then number 1 is my favorite film of all time is The Lion King. It's the movie that made me want to be a director. It's a movie that made me want to draw. It's a movie that made me want to go into editing. It's a movie that made me love animals. It's all those things. It's a wonderful film. And let's hear your top 5. I want to hear your top 5. You told me Coca. Oh no, what are you talking about? Let's hear it.
For sure. Oh my God. Yeah, just looking back into like stuff I've seen in the past. Ooh, there's just so many. It's hard to choose from. I'll go from 1 to 5. Coco number 1, Lion King number 2.
Okay, fuck, that's my man.
That's my man.
That's my man. That's what I'm talking about.
And it's crazy because, like, you know, you mentioned about Into the Spider-Verse, the Spider-Man, the most recent ones are so recent, but, you know, some people consider it as like some of the best or greatest things we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just the amount of work they put in it, into a film, and also the story, has to be there. Has to be. You know what? Top 2. That's 2, 3, Lion King.
All right. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Mulan.
What else you got? Mulan.
Mulan.
Okay.
And oh man, controversial. Toy Story 4. I really like Toy Story 4 a lot.
Really?
Yeah. It's
really?
something
More
that
than the other 3?
I think so, because it's a movie that just, you know, I didn't expect much coming into it, because I thought that Toy Story 3 was, I would consider the perfect ending for that one. But Toy Story 4 was really more about Woody's story, right? It's dwelling more on him rather than the other characters, but it really sparked something in me, and I related to many things that Woody was really going through. You know, in the film, which is why, you know, I think when it comes to film and when it comes to movies in general or storytelling, you know, one of the things that really creates emotional impact is when people relate to the characters, when people relate to the story. And I think that, you know, that's something that I will always never forget, Toy Story 4. And then I would say The Incredibles. Yeah, The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way it was presented, the flow, and also the pacing of the film was just absolute perfection to me.
Oh my God. Yeah. The pacing of it, it's so good. It's just constantly going. And it doesn't feel rushed either.
It really doesn't. And it picks its moments too. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be very fast all the time. And also the music, like how the music really played a major factor in that film. Wow. It's just super impressive. And I'm just thinking, like, looking back, you know, watching that film from over a decade ago and comparing to some of the films now, that's just so good. So good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I'll send you this cool video someone edited with Brad Bird giving a lecture. But they edited it with all of his movies, like Iron Giant, Incredibles, Ratatouille. But Brad Bird, one of the things he talks about is the nice little sneaking around moments that animation can offer. Like, a lot of people tend to think that animation is just like constantly loony, but like it says the nice parts of the quiet moments, the nice like Elastigirl like trying to infiltrate Syndrome's headquarters, like she's just very slowly sneaking around, and even like Mr. Incredible when he's sneaking around too, like those little like quiet moments, and just seeing the expressions on the face, like. And he's right. It's like the nice time to breathe, but also you're on the edge of your seat too, because you're wondering, what's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You wonder what's gonna happen. You don't know what to expect, and you know those are the things I really like about a film, and also the character of Syndrome as well, like how they portrayed such a good villain in that film. Oh, so good.
Oh yeah. So good.
So good. But yeah, I guess we are 49 minutes in, so I wanted to ask this question. Like, isn't that crazy how time just flew?
Wow. You're right. We were talking about time flying at the beginning of this and time's flying at the end of this.
Absolutely. Especially when you're having fun, obviously. But,
yeah.
you know, given the fact that we talked about you as an animator, you as a trailer editor, and also a freestyle rapper, right? So what do you, I guess, identify the closest? Because you're really a man of many talents, man of different expertise, and also creative expressions. Like, what do you think, you know, identify the closest to?
Man, you're really making me reflect here right now. Oh man. I guess, I mean, artist is the nice generic term. As editing is its art form. I do feel like I am painting something. Like some people think of editing like you're creating a puzzle. And I do sometimes think of that too, like you're creating your own puzzle. But a puzzle is something that's like, this is when you're doing a puzzle, you have the outline. Yeah, like not the but that's the instructions is how it's supposed to look. Like this is how it's supposed to look at the end. But I think with editing, it's more like you're painting, more like you're like you have the vision in your head, you have the execution of how you want to tell the story, of how you want to cut these videos together to just make one video to tell a story in your head, and you're putting that on the canvas. It's like it's like you're the painter. All these videos are the paints, and the video screen, that's the canvas right there, and you're painting it with it. So I think in some ways, like you're like that is total. It's definitely an art form, but I've always thought of it like that. And yeah, artist is one I'd say. I think on my Twitter bio it just says artist period. Not much else of a description there. Yeah, I drawing's definitely my favorite thing to do. I think it's but editing is also something I love doing for a day job. So it's one of those things. Acting, I don't do it enough to say that's my main thing. I would like it to be, but I like what I'm doing right now too. But some would say I'm acting every day. Also, like some people are like, you're always performing. You always got to perform when you're talking to people. But I guess, I don't know, some would say like my main thing is I'm a storyteller. All these things together. Like you draw. When you're drawing, you're telling a story. When you're editing, you're telling a story. When you're acting, you're telling a story. When you're uploading a video on YouTube, that YouTube video is a story. When you're talking to people, when you have burnout, you're storytelling. You're telling stories. You're listening to stories. I think we're all storytellers. And I think it's an important part of the human experience. Man, do I feel like I'm preaching a little bit. I'm
Oh, that's so, oh my God. Like I'm so inspired right now because I asked that question because there's so many different fields, right? In terms of filmmaking, in terms of artistry in general. There's also music. There's also, like you mentioned, drawing. Like you're such a good drawer too. Like I remember you actually making a drawing for us for Tahan as well. I was like, everyone thought it was very impressive.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that was fun.
Absolutely. And I just see, the value in you and how you're just trying to tackle like many things like creatively, right? That's just such an amazing thing that people, really should give value to. And one thing I want to ask as well, like given the fact that, you're a storyteller, like you mentioned, and just trying to make people feel a certain way. I remember you saying you wanted to make people happy, you wanted to make people laugh, right? What are some of the most valuable lessons you learned like throughout you being an animator and also an editor as well, like whether it's in the industry, whether it's like through just working or whether it's just having fun? Like what are some of the most valuable lessons?
Ooh, man. I think, also I just want to say full front right off the bat to those who are listening out there. Don't, when I'm like giving advice, don't think of it as like me lecturing you to go like, this is how you do it, this is how you succeed, this is how you're going to succeed, you follow me, you listen to me, you're going to succeed. Woo! I don't think of it like that. Like, this is just some things that work for me. So yeah, the best advice pieces I've been given is when people are like, this is just something that works for me. So everything works differently for other people. But yeah, I think the best advice I ever got for anything is never stop learning. Never stop being afraid to learn. Because I don't know about you, but when I graduated college, I just had this release of like, I am so glad I don't have to learn a goddamn thing in my life ever again. Woo! You toss your baton up, you're good. And then you feel like you're ready for the world. But next thing you know, when you start your job, you're learning new stuff. You're learning things that you never was taught in school and that there's no classes for. Not to badmouth my school, but there's so many things in the industry that they don't teach us, and so many programs that we don't learn. So it's really like, you just got to have the attitude of never stop trying to add space in your brain to put more files in there and learn more stuff for the job or what have you. And for life too, you know, like, never stop learning, I think is a really important thing to go about everything.
Absolutely. That's so valuable. And then that's also one of the main reasons why we created this podcast in the first place, because we try to invite like various types of people from different fields, different, you know, experiences, etc. But you mentioned about, you know, never stop learning. Some people just tend to, you know, go to school, go to college, anything that's the limit, right? That's the only thing that will get them, you know, to learn a certain thing. But in reality, for me, coming out of college is when you actually start learning about the world, start learning about experiences, etc. And basically high school, middle school, and college were just basically just things that were just giving you time to warm up for that kind of real world experience. And this is when you start learning, I think, like after you finish your formal education, now you're stepping into, you know, your career. Now you're stepping into the things that you're doing for a living. That's the stuff you're going to learn from, learning from experience, learning from mistakes too. Yeah. And that's where I think people, underestimate, like if you make a lot of mistakes, that's when you really get the opportunity to learn as well. And some people, you know, take mistakes as weaknesses and saying like, oh, I'm making so many mistakes and, I can't push through. But in reality, that's the start of, you know, of growth. That's the start of, you know, being better at certain thing. I was talking to Tony Segala, which was a great guitar player before in this podcast, that it takes time for things to come. It takes time for you to learn. It takes time for you to finish a project from start to finish. You know, starting a YouTube channel like Brandon did that has made many people, you know, feel a certain way and really smile, and, you know, has gotten a lot of attention for a good reason. The reason is just being entertaining in general. So it's a great advice, Brandon, because some people, I think that some people just stop at a certain point, right? And so some people just, you know, go to school or basically, are taught by certain mentors, but they stop.
Yeah, they want to stop. They're just like, I have nothing left in me. I don't have any when brain. I'm done. And yeah, but like when you said welcome to the real world when you get out of college, I remember my boss one day out of college telling me, welcome to the real world, jackass, one day.
Yeah.
So it that's true. I never thought of it like that. It's like that's all prep for when you actually start learning everything. Damn.
Yeah. And I think part of it is also motivation, right? Like people stop learning because they have lack of motivation, or they start learning or continue to learn because of motivation. And I wanted to ask you, like, how do you even stay motivated? Like, I know that you're tackling many things at once, but I know it's also a passion of yours. That's why you do it for a living. So how do you stay motivated? Do you go to the gym? Do you listen to music? Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, I think, listening to music's definitely a big thing. I wasn't thinking about that until you said it, but apparently music makes you enhance your performance in workout or whatever you're doing much, much better. Like you get a much better workout in when you're listening to music. Like that's scientifically proven, and you don't notice it until you go to the gym and you forget your headphones. You're like, what's going on? But yeah, working out's a big thing. And I guess like me, like staying motivated is I like I said earlier, I'm a bit of a ham. I'm a bit of an attention whore. So when I'm getting some nice compliments, when I'm getting some nice praise, I want to keep getting that. I don't want that to stop. So it's really all about that. Like I really just want, I'm a pleaser at the end of the day, naturally. So that like you butter me up through this podcast has been motivating me like crazy. Like I'm going to draw right after this talk.
Absolutely. We're either going to do that, go to work, or for people who haven't seen Spider-Man, watch it right now. Go watch Spider-Man.
Go watch Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse. It's still Absolutely. Out. When is it out until?
I don't know. I mean, probably if it keeps doing well, it'll keep it in there.
It'll keep, guys. Oh my God.
And it's doing really well.
I've ever seen. It's doing really well. I think it's going to win. I actually really think that it's going to.
You think it's going to win the box office?
Well, the Oscars as well. Like the best animation. I think it's going to win.
Yeah, it might be a little early to tell, but I think it could.
I called it. Didn't the last Spider-Man win too? The one before this?
Yeah. Spider-Verse,
yeah, and I called that. I called that. This is gonna win, so I think this is also gonna win. I don't know. Okay. I mean, that's just me. I haven't seen the other animated stuff. I think Elemental is out or something, and there's other ones. Yeah, a lot of movies, a lot of great animated films. Yeah,
a lot of movies to catch up on, man.
I know it never stops. Never stop learning.
No, never stop learning. Never stop watching. Never stopping.
Absolutely. So Brandon, this has been such an amazing conversation with you. I learned so much just by talking to you as well. Any upcoming projects you're working on? Any past projects you want to share, and anything in general?
Oh, well, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much for having me. Juan, I really appreciate it, man. Anytime. Honored to talk to you. Anything I want to, any upcoming projects? I don't think there's anything specifically big. I've been doing like 45 small things, like not instead of just one big thing. Like you got one big thing out, you got that feature film out. Like I've just been doing like 45 small things. So I guess if anything, follow me on Instagram at bswaffs, or on Twitter, and check out my Facebook page, The Art of Brandon Swofford. And you can check out my YouTube channel, B Money Rules, and you'll see all of the 45 or so things I've been doing.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier about you worked on the Spider-Verse as well. Like, can you share like some of the stuff that you worked on it? That were you working on, I guess the editing side of it, right? Or
the editing for marketing. So nothing in the finished product. Let's make that very clear. They did just fine without me as far as the film itself. But yeah, I was working on the marketing. So, but if you want, if you go on my Instagram, you can see there's on the little like story highlights, there's one called videos. And if you hit through a bunch of those, you'll find some Spider-Verse spots that I edited. They did some TikToks for them that are posted on their Instagram. And that was so much fun. One of my favorite things was a little music video with like a little mini music video. It's vertical. It's made for TikTok and Instagram, made to watch on your phone. But it's from the soundtrack of Across the Spider-Verse. And you see like the Spotify play button at the bottom. with the Spider-Man logo with it. And yeah, that was one of my favorite things I edited. So yeah, if you want to check that out, please do. Maybe you already saw it. Maybe you follow Sony and Spider-Verse on Instagram and you already saw it.
Yeah, like some of you or most of you may have already seen Brandon's work, but can you spell it again? B Money Rules. B.
Absolutely. It's a B and then M like Metallica, O-N like Nightingale, EYRULZ.
RULZ. Yeah, there you go. You can go ahead and follow him there. Yeah, great stuff, Brandon. Congratulations on that, and also all of the things that you've done. So, Brandon, this has been great. This has been amazing. Obviously, as always, having a conversation with you, it's always a good time. But for people who are listening to this podcast, who are obviously eager to learn something new about, anything at all, any advice or anything you want to share to the audiences we have now?
I guess any advice I would give, other than never stop learning. If you're meant to do it, just keep doing it. If you really want to, I guess the next advice I can give is you will fail from time to time. And this is also me. I got to take my own advice right here. Like, this is something that I need to be reminded of, is that you're going to fail from time to time, is that you are going to, things are not going to work out. If you're an improviser on stage, if you're a chef, if you want to draw, you're going to have a bad drawing. You're going to have a bad dish. You're going to have a bad performance. It's going to happen. Even if you're on top and you're the best in the biz, there's going to be a part where it's not your best time. It's not your best effort. And someone's going to go, not your best effort. But I guess, like, just if you're really meant to do it, you're not going to let that affect you. You're just going to keep going, or maybe that'll be your motivation to keep going. I don't know, but yeah, I guess just know that you're going to fail and learn from it. Yeah, like Rafiki says in The Lion King, the past can't hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it.
There you go. That's absolutely perfect. And, Lion King reference. And also for people who haven't seen Lion King, if you haven't seen Lion King, watch it right now.
Why are you watching us?
Why are you watching us? But great advice. And, totally like even the most successful people have failed so many times, especially. There was this one quote from Michael Jordan saying that he's done so many shots in the past, but has caused him to become successful as he is, among many people as well. So definitely amazing advice, Brandon. And I just want to thank you for being a guest. And I know you already mentioned about your social media stuff, but for people who already forgot, tell people about your social media, like all the platforms you're in, and also how you spell it.
Yeah, no problem, man. So got my YouTube channel called B Money Rules. That's B Money and then RULZ. Up there, you'll see some trailer mashups I do from time to time. The most recent one I did was Fast X, the trailer for Fast and Furious X with footage from The Incredibles. It's pretty fun. I really enjoyed working on that one. So go check it out. And another one will be up sometime. I got my Instagram and my Twitter where I upload a lot of my art. That's at BSwoffs, BSWOFFS. And I got my Facebook, The Art of Brandon Swofford, where I post everything on there. All my art, all my videos, you'll see it there. And yeah, just type in The Art of Brandon Swofford and you'll find it.
Great. Definitely check out Brandon Swofford and B Money Rules. Brandon, thank you so much for being a guest of The Howl again. And it's always a pleasure having you here and just having a conversation with you. And thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of The Howl, and I will see you next time.